What is up, everybody, and welcome back to the Show and Go podcast, where we bring you all of your MLB The Show news and opinions. I'm Balake, also known as Mr. Perfect, and I'm here with the check swing bandit himself, Ryan Jones, and the man who's nothing short of stellar, Anthony Steller-Harter. Sit back, get comfortable, play a couple Conquest games, and listen to the sweet, sweet sound of our takes. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Show and Go podcast. I apologize for the brief hiatus we took. We were dealing with some legal issues, some copyright stuff, some potential jail time. It was rough, but we are back, and we've got a lot to talk about. A lot of baseball stuff has been going on. First, we're going to discuss the huge, massive cheating scandal that's way worse than anything that's ever happened in baseball history. We're talking about spider tack, sticky stuff, and we're gonna deep dive into what we think should be the correct response from Manfred, because this is all his fault, obviously. But yeah, let's get started. You guys got any opening remarks?
Rob Manfred is bad for baseball. Ryan?
In solitary with all the pitchers out there, we will be pulling our pants down while we talk about this. So, Sergio Romo, Max Scherzer, we're with you. We stand with you.
We stand by those oppressed by the dictatorship that is Manfred. All right, well, basically, if you've been living up under a rock and have not been paying attention to baseball, pitchers have been using foreign substances, pine tar, sunscreen, rosin, stuff like... Actually, rosin isn't a foreign substance. It's allowed. But different substances to get a good grip on the ball. In the past, hitters really haven't cared. Nobody really paid attention to it very much until just recently, when people started to realize how good pitchers actually are. And, some hitters like Josh Donaldson started to complain a little bit because they thought the substance that they were using was a little bit too sticky, aka spider tack, which is actually a substance used for power lifters, so they can get a better grip on whatever they're lifting. It's incredibly sticky. I honestly don't know how you would throw a baseball. I feel like it would just stick to your hand. But allegedly, people use it. If you haven't seen it, go look it up. It's pretty crazy. And so now we're having this whole issue where MLB is in the middle of the season changing rules and creating suspensions for these foreign substances. Players are mad. Players are mad that things are happening in the middle of the season. Pitchers are mad that they haven't clarified what is a foreign substance. Like, why are we just left with rosin, right? And I think we're going to dive into what should and shouldn't be allowed, what's the difference between these substances, and why Manfred sucks, right? So I want to hear your guys' opinion before I add anything, because I think we're all pretty much on the same page. I think baseball fandom is maybe a little bit more divided, but I think when you think about it, logically, of course, you'll agree with us.
I just want to say first that I think Glasnow, anyone that hasn't seen the video of Tyler Glasnow's 4-minute video after he injured his ACL or UCL, that deserves to be watched if you haven't seen it already. He explained it really well, I think, and I agree with him on a lot of what he had to say. I just strongly disagree with the implementation of all these new rules in the middle of a season and these strong implications to suspensions and checking pitchers in the middle of a season when this is what they're used to, this is what their arms are used to. I think Glasnow said his arm was sore in places it's never been sore by going cold turkey on the substances like rosin and sunscreen. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, MLB definitely fumbled the bag, but it's better late than never because this is a serious problem and it was getting out of hand this year with record strikeout numbers, record everything for pitchers, and we do need to see a change, and this isn't the worst approach they've ever had, so I'm slightly in favor of MLB just finally putting an end to it,
See, I agree with that, but I just feel like they should have waited till the end of the season than in the middle of the season, because, you saw Glasnow. He was probably in the running for, a potential Cy Young this year with the way he's been pitching, and now we might not even see him until the postseason best-case scenario by going cold turkey on not using anything at all when he was used to using sunscreen and rosin, which isn't even that bad, especially if the reason why he said he was using it is true, just to get a better grip on the ball, not to increase his spin rate.
I'm not with you there. I think they needed to address it now, because pushing it off to the end of the season, you're just adding one more thing on top of the expiring CBA, universal DH, expanded playoffs, all these other topics that the union and the MLB are going to argue about. You're just adding one more thing on top of it, and I don't think that they would be able to resolve it as cleanly as just setting down their ultimatum right now.
See, I agree they should have addressed it. I don't think they should have made any changes just yet because, like we're seeing, Tyler Glasnow is one of the better pitchers in baseball right now, and he's injured. Like, this is a serious injury. He tore his UCL. That's like no joke. He might need Tommy John, I think people were saying.
Yep.
And that's due to them just throwing this out in the middle of a season when he's already conditioned to what he's used to. So I think they should have addressed it. I don't think they should have made the rules implemented just yet, in my opinion. I agree. I respect your opinion, just what I'm saying. But I don't know. If it's causing injuries like this already to one of the better young pitchers in baseball, I think they could have handled it a little better, a little differently, in which this wouldn't have happened. Especially with a pitcher can now get suspended for 10 games for sticky substance, but cheating a World Series still hasn't been resolved yet.
Yeah, let me give my opinion on this because I think I'm sort of in the middle. I agree with Anthony that in the past, like, I think implementing rules in the middle of anything is almost never a good idea because we've already played the game a certain way up to a certain point, and it'd be unfair to change the rules in the middle, right? That's like from the basic board game you ever played with your family all the way up to professional sports. You try not to change rules in the middle of the season. That's just my philosophy. So I definitely think it should have been handled in the off season. My problem, and where I'm kind of leaning with Ryan, is that they already implemented the rules. Like they already messed up once. And so by messing up once and then not fixing it, that's now a problem because I don't think they can go back on it, right? Like what it would be like what would happen if they're all of a sudden like, fine, we'll wait to suspend people until next year. That just looks bad from their perspective. Even though I think, like, I don't know, I don't think it's just hard because then it makes Manfred look like even more of a shit show than he already is.
No,
you know?
Right, I agree with it. I don't think they can go back on it at all. That's not what I'm saying. Hindsight is 20/20. What I'm saying is I think they should have waited to do anything about it yet. Maybe just address that they know that there is a problem and they're going to look into it starting next season or immediately effective after the World Series and whatnot.
Yes, that is where I think it should have ended. Like, hey, we're gonna look into it this season. We're gonna gather some data. We're going to see what we can do to find a compromise here, and we'll address it, in December. Now, I think Ryan brings up a good point about the CBA. I mean, the players and Major League Baseball could not be further apart on most of these issues. So I agree that it is adding something onto their plate. It's just hard to ignore something like that. That it's a pretty big deal, I think. They already kind of messed it up. And we're going to see what their damage control is. Moving on, I think let's look at some potential solutions.
Can I just go back to the Tyler Glasnow point for 1 second?
Yeah.
I sympathize with Glasnow. I believe him that he felt different after his outing. But we can't take that one injury and directly link it to, the taking these substances away causes injuries. Because Tyler Glasnow is a freak. He's 6'8", 225, string bean. 14 starts already this season. That's already a career high. Over 6 years in the majors, he's never made 14 starts before. And so you're talking about a guy hocking 101, 102. That can't last forever. And he was a ticking time bomb. A lot of people thought that. And so I'm not sure if we can directly link his injury to say that this causes injury.
See, I see where you're coming from, but I gotta disagree on some points. Like, he's a freak of nature, but he's always thrown hard. He has. He's always gone deep into games. He's thrown those pitches. He has that volume. And maybe he hasn't pitched 14-plus starts yet, ever. I mean, he only really became an elite starter last year in a 60-game season where he wasn't even getting that many starts to begin with that crazy rotation that the Rays had. But regardless, I know there's like whole correlation, causation, but I feel like you have to make the point that like he said that he had never felt sore in places in his arm where he felt sore before, and he says that it affected him the second start of him going no foreign substances at all, to the point where he had to get taken out and out of the game because his arm literally didn't recover from the previous start from his first time going with no foreign substances. So yeah, maybe there isn't exact complete causation, but there has to be some kind of correlation that caused that in some way with the going no foreign substances at all. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm just waiting for the second guy to come forward with an injury that says something like that.
Right.
I was going to say, I definitely think more injuries are going to start happening now with more pitchers going completely nothing, no foreign substances at all, especially the guys that are hucking 97, 98 for innings on innings on innings. Like Araldis, I wouldn't be surprised if something with him. Garrett Cole hucks 100 plus into the 6th, 7th, 8th inning at times. God forbid Jacob deGrom gets a serious injury because he is a fucking man amongst kids, but it wouldn't surprise me those guys that are hucking 100 plus for innings on innings. But yeah,
I've also heard some people on Twitter, these hounds just chasing for somebody to accuse. They accused deGrom because his RPMs were down like 100 for one start, and his teammates just immediately came to his defense. He doesn't use that. He's never used that, and so I don't know if he's the perfect comparison. Also, I believe he's had Tommy John in the past multiple times, possibly. But yeah.
Yeah. No, I get where both you guys are coming from. I think I could definitely see the connection between the loss of a substance and an injury, because, you know, anytime your body gets used to doing something and you change it abruptly, that's usually not good, right? But I do agree with Ryan. I do want to see more or I don't want to see this, but if I'm going to make that point, I want to see more people that have come forward, or maybe just the like arm injuries are rising or something, because then it's even more of an argument as to why they need to clarify what substances are allowed and aren't. Because if all you have to do is mix sunscreen with rosin to prevent arm injuries, like get better grip, like I think most people are going to sign up for that because sunscreen isn't spider tack, right?
Yeah, can I make a point? I have a personal opinion on that part. I think sunscreen and rosin is perfectly fine. I've never personally done that as a pitcher. I've never used any substance at all, even rosin. But
way to clear your name first.
So I'm just saying because I don't have that experience with it. But if what Glasnow was saying is sunscreen and rosin literally just helps you get a grip, it doesn't make you throw any harder, doesn't increase your spin rate or anything, I don't see what the issue is with that. Because I feel like obviously spider tack, that's too far. Like that's kind of sticky shit. They shouldn't be able to do that. But something that's just going to help you grip the ball and perform at your best that isn't cheating, I think is fine. Because hitters get to use pine tar, right? And the MLB used to be a lot more strict about that. It could only be like on the middle part of the bat. And now like you see guys have it all the way up the barrel, all the way up the handle. So I don't see the issue. If hitters get to use pine tar, pitchers should be able to get to use rosin and sunscreen. You know what I mean?
I mean, I think we're underscoring how much it helps your performance. I mean, you talk about a guy with a 4.16 career ERA going out and tossing a perfect game. Like, Dallas Brain never would have done that without some sort of cheating. Like, it's just not possible, not conceivable.
That's rough. That's a rough accusation, considering we all love Dallas Brain.
I want to go on behalf of myself and Blake and say Ryan's views do not reflect me and Blake when it comes to Dallas Brain's perfect game.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah.
Thank
but
you.
they do. Moving on.
No,
Solutions.
No. I think we're
good. We're good.
No. I'm not gonna shame you for your Dallas Braden take. We all know it was a joke. I think Anthony segued into a good topic. What's the line here? When does a pitcher cross the line? Because I think like a common fan probably can't understand probably doesn't understand the difference between rosin and sunscreen and like spider tack, because they're both substances that are banned, right? You're not allowed to use sunscreen or anything like that. But I think it starts with rosin, because rosin is allowed. It's the only thing on the mound other than that little pad to clean your cleats, right? So, but rosin dries out your hand. It's a powder, right? So I don't really think like using that as like grip control is a stretch. right? It helps.
It's the same thing about how like powerlifters use chalk with the barbell, gymnasts use
Right.
chalk with the bar with other, I don't know the terms, but the bar that they're spinning on, all that shit. So it's like a short term kind of like, okay, let me grab some real quick, go.
Right. And I think what MLB pitchers are telling us is that that isn't working, right? And that it's never really worked. It's just something that will let you mix your sweat or sunscreen or something with it. And then once you add that liquid, it becomes something that can help you grip the ball, right?
Right.
Whereas spider tack is something that will let you spin the ball at an increased rate, almost like a new version of like a spitball or a Vaseline ball, where you're using it to get a different break that you wouldn't normally be able to get if you were just throwing a ball normally. And I think that's where the line is like, it's almost intent. Like, are you getting increased spin rate? Are you throwing a breaking ball that you wouldn't be able to throw naturally? Or are you getting a little bit better of a grip, you know? And it's hard to discern who's doing what at this point. I think Glasnow is clearly intent on getting a better grip. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been so transparent about what he uses, right? If he was trying to cheat in any way, he would probably not have come forward and said, I use something that's banned, right? Like, clearly, it's not a moral issue for him. And so I think that's where a lot of MLB pitchers are at.
Blake, can I just ask you, dead on, does Garrett Cole use spider tack?
That's a tough question. I don't really know how to answer that.
That's fair. Go ahead, Anthony.
I don't know how to answer your question, Ryan, but I definitely think there is a line, and I think a majority of pitchers were like within their right to use like whatever sunscreen, rosin mixture, sweat that they're using, and then there's these pitchers that were definitely using illegal foreign substance that they weren't supposed to be using, and that line kind of isn't being seen by the MLB. They just think, oh, screw it, this is all, none of it's okay. When I think they got to recognize that there is a line of something that's like not cheating, just helping them perform a little bit better, that just, I don't know, that isn't considered cheating. It's such a gray area, honestly, because it's so new of a thing to be like talked about with these new rules and whatnot. But I do think there is a fine line. I think some pitchers were crossing it, some pitchers weren't, such as guys like Garrett Cole that were literally floundering in an interview because they didn't know how to respond to the question, are you using any illegal substances?
In defense of the MLB, though, I will say that it's easier to just ban everything because, as we saw with Trevor Bauer in the dugout, the sweat and rosin, perfectly legal. It looks like he's using a sticky substance. And so if you're telling the umpires, okay, this is allowed, this is allowed, this is allowed, this isn't allowed, and you're asking them to differentiate, then that's asking even more than just saying, oh, look for any sticky substances.
For those that don't know, well, Ryan, while you gather your thoughts, for those that don't know what Ryan's talking about, Trevor Bauer posted a video that said, he posted a little poll under the tweet that said, let me know if you think this is legal or illegal. And he just posted a video of him going like this with the ball. He just opened his hand, ball was underneath the hand, and the ball stuck there for 4 or 5 seconds, and then it slowly started to fall. He did it again, and it stayed there even longer. He didn't say what it was at first. He didn't say if it was legal or illegal by Major League Baseball's rules. He just showed the video and wanted people to vote. And a majority of the vote was people saying it was illegal. And then hours later, Trevor Bauer revealed that it wasn't spider tack, it wasn't anything but a mixture of sweat and rosin, which is literally totally illegal. MLB literally provides the rosin bag on the mound for pitchers to use.
Yeah, so basically what I'm saying is people have attacked the MLB for not drawing the line and allowing some things, where I'm saying MLB won't be able to tell what's legal and what's illegal. And so you're probably more likely to lean towards letting more illegal things in, and then it's all judgmental and different umpires have different opinions of what's legal and illegal. So just eliminating all of it before you can get any umpire training or anything, that's probably the best move for them right now.
I would agree with you, Ryan, saying that getting rid of all of it right now is the easiest thing to do, as shitty as it is for pitchers and their potential injuries and all that. and then building forward, especially probably hopefully in the off season, to building what that line is. But still, from then on, it's still going to be difficult to know like what pitchers are and aren't using that is legal, not legal.
I was just going to say that, like Anthony said, that's the easier solution, but I feel like we should be looking for the correct solution, right? Because I feel like MLB is they're scrambling and trying to make PR moves, and they just keep fucking it up, right? So why don't we stop with the PR moves, and they hire a team of people to analyze what different substances does to a baseball, right? Why don't they do that for a year? And then they come back next year and they tell us, hey, we asked pitchers what substances they thought were good and bad, and then we used all of them, and this is what it does to the ball. And then this is what's banned, this is what isn't, right? Like, there's got to be some sort of study or some sort of data that they can try and acquire instead of just going with the easy way out, which has proven to not actually be the easy way out because pitchers are resisting, fans are resisting. There's problems with what they did. So I just think that coming up with some sort of like quantitative number or quantitative data that can show us what a certain substance does to a ball and then determining a decision from there. And again, easier said than done. I understand that. That would be really difficult to pull off. But it's a professional sport. We got to do something.
Right, and to build off that, I just thought of this just now with Blake, what you were saying, because it was kind of related to a point that I somewhat made earlier, how like they just jumped right into these new implementations rather than waiting and seeing. I don't get why they didn't use the minor leagues as the guinea pig like they have with a lot of other new rules. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the runner on second and extra innings rule, what was the drop third strike rule that they were implementing but never went through in the minor leagues?
Oh, the one where they can steal first base on any
Yes,
pitch.
they can steal
it doesn't
on any
have
pitch,
to be
yes.
a drop third strike. That one was fun.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a drop third strike. But still, like, I like that they used the minor leagues as a guinea pig for that. That would have been a horrible rule.
Yes.
But they figured that out through the minor leagues and didn't ruin Major League Baseball by just throwing all these new rules in. I don't get why they didn't use that. I feel like that would have been a smarter move on a smaller basis, but still would have had the volume with all the teams that they could have seen it from. You know what I mean? I just feel like using the minor leagues as a guinea pig would have, for a year or two, would have been a smart move on Manfred's behalf rather than just jumping into it and throwing more into the dumpster fire of decisions that he's already made. Ryan, go ahead.
I think we have the answer right in front of us. You talk about the minor leagues. Well, there's a higher baseball league than that. That's not the MLB. Overseas, you got KBO and MPB. They had the same issue years ago. How did they deal with it? They pre-stick the balls. The league provides the balls with a sticky substance onto them where they're rubbed up better and they have their own concoction. Now, MLB experimented with this a while ago, but it didn't work out or whatever. They own Rawlings. The place that produces the balls, they own them. And you're telling me that they can't get a team of scientists for this multi-billion-dollar industry. They can't hire scientists to design a ball that's already been engineered across the world. Like, they have to have something ready. Like, this is so obvious.
I'm so glad you brought that up because that was my exact point. I was literally going to say the Major League Baseball, if you've never held one, right? And I'm not talking a baseball. I'm talking a Major League certified baseball. If you get the chance, go and hold one because the seams are non-existent. The leather, no give. It's no tack at all. Like, if you look at a little league or a travel ball, even college balls, if you've ever held a college baseball, it's heaven. It's heaven for baseball players. But a Major League Baseball is the polar opposite. And so why are we, like, and again, they own Rawlings. They have so much power to change something. Make the leather have more give. Make the seams slightly higher. Just a little bit, you know? That would do miles for grip. And then, like Ryan said, make it sticky. Actually make it something you can grip and throw a decent breaking ball.
Right, and to build off that, Blake, I have a fair share of baseballs in my baseball bag in the back of my car that have seams and don't have seams. And as for my experience being a pitcher, there's a catcher in this call right now that has caught plenty of bullpens. Ryan, you've seen the difference of my bullpens quality-wise of baseballs with and without seams. What would you have to say?
Day and night. You can tell immediately, first pitch, the way it comes out of the hand, if the pitcher can grip the ball or not. And I would like to touch on the fact that the minor leagues recently, in the past couple of years, the upper minor leagues, I think just AAA, switched to the major league level balls. And offense exploded because pitchers can't grip the balls. And it's even worse at those levels because the pitchers aren't as experienced and they don't really have time to stick around and get used to the ball and manipulate it the way that they want to. And so that needs to change too. It needs to be a top to bottom change.
Yeah, and we also got to understand too that the balls that they're using get thrown out almost immediately. I think the average life of a Major League Baseball is like around 7 or 8 pitches. If that, a lot of them get thrown out as soon as they touch the dirt. A lot of them get thrown out after one play, right? So when they're getting rid of a ball that frequently, that means that every time they get a new one, that player, that pitcher, is going to have to get it the way he likes it because the ball is so bad. So that's so much more effort on a pitcher's part, right? Like, I'm trying to imagine having to do that as a starter for every new ball you get. You're like, shit, now I got a brand new ball that's ass. And I have no give, no grip. I don't know what to do with this unless I put a foreign substance on it. That's bad, right? And I'm not saying we should change how often a ball's thrown out, but change the ball, you know?
You know what I think would be a cool idea for us to do that we could put on YouTube and that post clips on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, being that we have a pitcher, catcher, and then hitter, Blake, if we all got together, it'd be a lot of fun to do, buy a handful of major league level baseballs with the little to no seams, handful of maybe like college level baseballs with seams, whatever, and maybe get some certain substances, rosin, sunscreen, maybe something like spider tack, and something with sunscreen, rosin, and then spider tack, and throw them. And see the difference, record the difference, slow-mo it, do what we have to show how much of a difference it makes. And then I can literally say, like, oh, this is how my arm feels after this one, or this one, and how it feels coming out of my hand. Because I feel like that hasn't been done enough. I haven't seen any videos going viral on Twitter, YouTube, nothing. And I'm astonished as to why, because I feel like this is definitely something that we could do that could get traction, that could get a lot of eyes on it, that would get people talking about this sort of thing, this sort of issue. You know what I mean?
I brought up a team of people to, record this data. Maybe that's us. Maybe we take this into our hands instead of leaving it in the incompetent hands of Rob Manfred.
I mean, you never know who's going to see that video. Literally, Reggie Jackson followed us on Twitter. So who knows who else is going to see that video? You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Friend of the pod, Reggie, You
never know who's going to see it. You never know. And literally anything can go viral. And if we show it and, explain it well and, just, show exactly the differences and what it makes, I feel like you don't know. You never know who can see what, who can get what talking.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think to kind of close up this section, unless you guys have any other points, I think the solution that we're looking at is changing the ball. That's, in my opinion, the best solution. Secondary, they need to clarify the rules, what is allowed, what isn't allowed, and then put some data into what these substances do to the ball. That's what I think the solution should be. And I agree with Anthony. In hindsight, they definitely should have done changes in the off season, right? Just like they've done every other year.
And if they make because I feel like big changes are more to come, especially in this offseason, guinea pig the shit out of the minor leagues. That way, if it doesn't go over well, because it's a win-win. If it doesn't go over well, it was just the minor leagues. It's shitty for those guys, whatnot, but, it's not as big of a deal, not as big as a dumpster fire as if it went over horribly in the MLB the way this is going over with pitchers. You know what I mean? And if it does go well, great. Implement it at the major leagues. See how it goes.
I mean, the Major League Baseball barely pays their minor leaguers. How are they not going to use them as guinea pigs, right? I'm not saying obviously I'm saying they should be paid. I'm just saying that how did they not think to experiment with this a little bit before they immediately banned it. I mean, I understand it was a rule already. They basically just clarified that they're going to do suspensions for it. I'm just like, come on, man. You got to think some stuff out. And the PR around Major League Baseball is already so bad. And we feel for you, minor leaguers. You guys deserve a livable wage.
In summation, just Rob Manfred, I hope you're listening.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me.
You're not.
You're not that guy.
Trust me.
Okay.
You're not that guy.
Absolutely.
Like a pimple to the left.
Like a pimple
Arrested
to
for
the
doing
left.
what? Just like a pimple on the left.
Something you don't
Somebody
like.
says something and you don't like it. And you
that's a
don't like
perfect way
it,
to
right?
end
Is
that
that what it is?
Absolutely.
You little
Perfect.
pimp.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
moving on. Moving on from that flawless segue, let's talk about something good, something a little bit more exciting. Wander Franco, baseball's #1 prospect, recently got called up and made his debut against my very own Boston Red Sox. And I was scared. I was scared watching that guy play. He's going to be a force to reckon with in the East. Go on.
Can I just say, he's legit when you sell out tickets at Tropicana on a Tuesday night? Are you kidding me? That's enough for me already.
He is that
you
guy.
sell out tickets
Kyle.
at Tropicana? Yeah, he's that guy. Manfred, take notes. He is that guy.
He might become the guy that you tell your grandkids you were at that game with those 12,000 other fans that turn into 120,000 by the time that he's elected to the Hall of Fame. Yeah, I was... Oh, you were there? No way. I was section 454. Yes. Anyway.
Yeah. I remember that. We were in Tropicana. Yeah. That place exists. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Montreal Rays, yeah. Call them by their future name. He's electric. I mean, to hit a home run in your very first game in the big leagues as a...
His first hit.
This is your very first hit as a 20-year-old. This guy was born in 2001.
Did you guys see what the pop culture references were when he was born? The first Shrek movie had just been released. The initial Apple iPod just became a thing or was just becoming a thing. It's unreal. It's unreal for what he's gonna be doing at his age. I honestly don't have words. He's gonna be a lot of fun to watch for a long time. 100%. He could be the next face of baseball.
My comparison at the moment is this is purely based on talk around him at the moment, is Juan Soto, because when Soto came up, everybody was talking about how disciplined he was, how good of a contact hitter he could be. He's one of the few guys that you're not excited about how hard he throws or how far he can hit the ball. You're watching a mature Major League Baseball player, right? And he's a rookie. That's the vibe that I got from him. And the fact that he's a switch hitter with good defense, good speed, he's a 5-tool player. It's hard to come by that. And before I let everybody else talk, here's a really interesting talking point about Wander Franco. He has a 3-year-old son. They could be the next Griffeys. Franco, I think they said his kid will be 21 when he's 38.
Yeah.
So they could play in the league together. It could happen. I mean, Griffey was 18 when it happened. So Wander Franco Jr. or whatever his name is, I'm excited for that as well.
Yeah, definitely a bright future for Wander Franco with the Rays. He's going to be a lot of fun to watch for a while, like I said. Did you guys see the way he was moving on that double that he ripped down the line? Kid's got wheels. He was moving fast out of the box, and first thought, out of the box, he was thinking at least 2 on that, and he was booking it. He can fucking move. He's got a nice bat, nice swing.
Yeah, he's jacked. He does not look like a 20-year-old.
No.
He's very mature. He's ready for the bigs.
You bring up comparisons, and usually I'm the guy to go to. I have the baseball history knowledge, whatever. I don't have one for him. You're talking about a switch hitter
Really?
at the most important position, arguably, at shortstop, who's a 5-tool player with an 80 grade hit tool. There's nobody. Like, you want to go back to, like, Honus Wagner, like an all-time great at shortstop who can do everything? There, and he wasn't even a switch hitter. You don't have anybody to compare this guy to. He can reach levels that nobody else can right now in the majors, honestly.
Right. And he's like the person that I kind of thought of, like, just on paper, was Lindor, but I think Wander is a better hitter than Lindor.
Absolutely.
Is. I've never thought Lindor as he's elite for the shortstop position, but league wide, he's not an elite hitter, career wise. Whereas Franco could play the same level of defense, same level of speed, switch hitter at the same position, better hitter.
And more athletic.
More power, better contact.
Lindor was an above average runner, but Franco has elite speed.
He's baseball's number one prospect for a good reason.
Yeah, Franco just checks all the boxes and what you'd want out of any player, let alone a premier position like shortstop. There's just not much more you can ask for out of a player, young player too.
I don't even know if there's anything you can change. Like, what would you want? Obviously, he might struggle hitting at the major league level, but talent-wise, what is there that you could ask for more? I don't think there's anything.
I was just gonna say right off Blake's point, like, you might say he might struggle, but I don't know. He might get into slumps, but with his swing and his maturity and how long he's been a number one prospect and raking in AAA, he's been ready to come up for a while, and it shows.
I agree.
I mean, before this year, he never played a game above high A, and he comes to the majors. He draws a walk. He's super composed, hits a home run in his very first game, very first hit. There's not much more you could be looking for as a fan of baseball and a fan of the Rays, potentially.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, now that we're done fanboying over Wander Franco, let's move on to another depressing MLB topic. If you're listening right now and you haven't seen the All-Star Game jerseys, please go look and make sure you bring a bag to barf in, because that shit is ugly. Like, I am not one to criticize uniforms, graphic design. I almost always can be like, you know what? It's fine. This is not fine. I do not enjoy looking at them. I don't think they're good. I don't even know where to start with them. It's just the logos look out of place and the colors do not match. I just don't understand. Go ahead, guys. I don't even...
Yeah, I would love to throw my input. When I first saw these this morning, I was like, oh, some fan made these. Like, for a fan-made jersey, like, okay, cool, whatever. And then I saw their official, I'm like, that's it. That's the one All-Star game a year. First All-Star game in 2 years for the Home Run Derby, all that. That's what they came up with? Really? These look like men's softball league weekend, get drunk in the parking lot, let's go play for 2 hours type jerseys. Would you guys agree with that? Because to me, that's what I think of when I see these jerseys. And the amount of potential that they had for these, being that it was in Colorado with that color scheme, with the Rocky Mountain, like something with the Rocky Mountains type city design. Look at that logo right there, Ryan, that you're showing. That, go up a little bit. I think it was like on the scoreboard. Go up a little bit. It was purple and black. Like that. See how clean that is with the Rockies in the bottom of the star? They could have incorporated something like that. Used the colorways of the Rockies with the purple, the black, the white. So much easier and would have looked so much nicer than these literal men's softball league jerseys. Hideous.
It almost looks like like you said, to me it looks like a fan-made soccer jersey. Like some kid in Europe just photoshopped a jersey for like his favorite soccer team, which is like, why is that the All-Star Game jersey? And I have some terrible news for you guys. I want your live reactions because I don't think you guys know about this, if I'm correct.
I'm nervous now.
Normally, the All-Star Game players during the actual game wear their team's jerseys. That has been abolished. These are going to be the jerseys worn in-game. What are your thoughts?
I'm crushed.
I am being 100%
I'm
serious.
crushed.
I wish I was joking.
That's disgusting because what I loved was how one team would wear their home whites, like all the American League would wear their regular home white jerseys, and then the other team would wear like colored away jerseys or whatever, so be it, their regular jerseys, but then they would all wear the made all-star hats. Like that was such a flawless system. I love that. Love that. You could see all the different
It was perfect.
all the different teams' colors and all their I have nothing to say. That's disappointing. Way to go, Rob.
They're like the softball beer league jerseys where they left all the responsibility of the jersey design to one person. He got blasted tonight with these sent them out. They got shipped in. Everybody opens the box. What is this? What are you doing? Like it doesn't. It just doesn't make sense. Somebody deserves to be fired over this.
They're bad.
Yeah.
They're that bad. I agree.
I think my least favorite part about them is the overlapping logos on the left side of the chest. That looks so bad. I think if you redid the logo, maybe the white and the border can be salvaged, right? The logo to me is the worst part.
Yeah, there's a lot that look bad about it, if I'm going to be honest. The logo there, just the two buttons. What's with the border on the sleeves?
Is that like bubbles?
Yeah, bubble camouflage. It looks, I don't know what that is.
So bad.
This doesn't even look like baseball jerseys. Blake, you're more spot on. These look like some fan-made, like Sunday League soccer jerseys that you go play with your buddies at, get plastered. Don't even really play soccer. You just go to get drunk to get away from the wife, and this is what you put on to make it seem like what you're doing is professional. No, these are hideous. From a multi-billion-dollar industry, that's the best you had? That's the best you could come up with? Like, that's a joke.
And it's not even salvageable because they have to wear them during the fucking game. Like, what are we doing? You could have hit it during the home run derby, right? Everybody's watching the ball fly off the bat anyways. And you're like, I don't know who it was. I'm going to blame Manfred. It probably wasn't his decision, but it's fun to blame somebody. So Manfred literally sat there. He had some intern whip up these jerseys, and he walked by that desk and he was like, holy shit, you're going someplace, kid. He made those jerseys the All-Star Game jerseys, and he slept on it, woke up the next day, was talking to the intern. He looks at those jerseys and he's like, they got to wear these during the fucking game. These are perfect. What are we doing? I don't even know what to say. Like, it's so bad. And like, I hate criticizing things. I do. I like to be positive about things, but this is so bad. Like, it's frustrating. Like, baseball has the spotlight and they're throwing it away.
Yeah, I'll say this too. Almost every year I've been tempted to buy an A's All-Star Game hat, if not jersey. Not even close this year. Not even close. Like, absolutely not. Big disappointment. What are we doing? Rob, get your shit together. Like, I feel like there is a design team at some random junior college that could have come up with something 10 times better.
100%.
Also, the decision to make all the logos just red, like,
yeah, what?
You can't see detail in a lot of them. Like the Cardinals one, the Mets one looked terrible. The Tigers one looks
Look at
awful.
the Blue Jays. Look at the Blue Jays one. Bottom row. It looks disgusting.
Oh god, yeah, it just takes so much away from a lot of these logos.
I mean, I think all of our reaction can best be described by that viral Cody Co video where he's like, ew, what the fuck?
Yes, absolutely.
That's exactly what I'm feeling at the moment.
Absolutely.
All right, now that we're done shitting on the jerseys, let's just move on to our All-Star Game. I'll go with snubs. You know, we want to talk about the guys who deserve more votes.
Matt Olson, 4%.
Matt Olson.
Yes.
5th place. OPS almost 1,000. Slugging over 600. Hitting basically 300. I mean,
Arguably Arguably the best defensive first baseman in all of baseball.
Yes, and he's the second best first baseman in baseball. We all agree that, right?
Yes.
Right,
Yeah,
Vladdy. Vladdy takes the cake. Vladdy cakes.
Absolutely.
Dump truck of an ass. Love Vladdy.
But Ole's right up there, man. It hurts me that this is happening.
Ole has the eyes, you know? It's a shame. I just got to say the left side of the infield for the AL is flawless. Nobody else should be getting votes. Bogarts and Devers, you're good, guys.
Wait, time out.
Thank you.
How is Bregman second? Isn't he having a horrendous year?
It's a popularity. It's the Astros are getting votes. The Padres are getting votes. The Blue Jays, the Red Sox are getting a little bit of love.
I don't honestly look at All-Star voting percentage. I don't look at it all that much, to be completely honest. Like, this is the first time I'm looking at the polling of it, because do you guys remember in 2015 when the entire starting lineup for the American League All-Star team was the entire Royals starting lineup plus Mike Trout in center field?
That was a joke. And it's not even the Royals?
Alcides Escobar.
Like, the Royals, not the Yankees, not the Sox, not the Dodgers. Really? The Royals dominated the All-Star game voting. That's a joke. Come on. There had to be like some voting fraud or something like that. Like, people are talking about all these elections being stolen. What about the 2015 All-Star game? That got stolen for sure.
I understand that some people aren't super stats heavy guys, but let's just leave this with Alcides Escobar's slash line. 257 average. You want like around 300 if you don't hit for power. 293 on base. You want that 350 at least. And then 320 slugging. He didn't do anything that year. He ended with 1 WAR. Like, it says it right here on Baseball Reference. 0 to 2 is a substitute, 2+ is a starter, 5+ is an all-star, and 8+ is an MVP. So you're talking about a 4 WAR difference between where he is and where an all-star should be.
Yeah, that says enough about how seriously you should take fan voting in the All-Star game. It's popularity vote.
And I'll be honest, like, I do agree that the fan vote is whack, right? But a lot of them get it right for a lot of people, you know. It's just there's a couple outliers like 15, and you know there's some people that are clearly getting votes, like Matt Olson, where he's not getting votes. But I don't know, man. It's it's tough to see guys like that where they're having such a good season and they're underrated, you know? Like, I would say Olson's underrated. And it's frustrating to watch them not get any recognition, you know?
Exactly.
How about Byron Buxton still in 3rd place despite playing less than half the games so far this year? He only has 27 games played.
Did he get hurt?
Yes.
Yeah.
Has he been hurt this whole time, kind of like Trout?
Well, Trout has played 9 more games than Buxton.
And Trout's been out for a while now.
I mean, I think I still voted for Buxton, if I'm being honest, but I voted like a couple weeks ago.
Can we talk about Yasmani being number 2 for hitting 212?
I love it. I'm in love with it.
Blake.
Yeah, Yasmani is an outlier.
Blake, me and Ryan did some math when I asked him to the other night. So we said, what would Yasmani, who at the time was hitting like what, Ryan, 212?
I thought it was like
half of his
190.
Oh, I think you're right.
Yeah, he was hitting below
190.
200
But
for a while.
regardless, Blake, I asked Ryan if he turned just half of Yasmani Grandal's 54 walks so far into hits, what would his average be? And it ended up being like 290 plus.
And he's batting 170 right now.
Dude, he either hits a home run or he walks. He's the reason why you don't use batting average. For people who have seen kind of the anti-batting average phase on the internet, that's why.
Movement.
Yeah, the movement. Yes, the anti-batting average movement on the internet. That's why, because Yasmani Grandal is still a really solid player, especially at a premium position like catcher. But his batting average wouldn't reflect that. And I think, it's fine to still look at batting average, but you have to look at other things in addition to it in order to form a more correct opinion about a player. That's all.
Right, definitely.
Any more All-Star Game related, snubs, disagreements, or people that you think... I think... You know what's interesting? It sucks that Ohtani has been DHing because JD Martinez is having an all-star level year as DH. But nobody's going to compete with Ohtani. That man's that man could win MVP. I don't know if he keeps up the same stats he's been having, I would give him my MVP vote, because how are you more valuable than a two-way player that's above average, borderline elite on both sides of the ball? That's tough.
A guy that'll take you 450 dead center, then go 7+ innings of 1 or 2 run ball with 8 or 9 Ks.
Right. It used to be he could be that person. He is that person now. This is his year. If he stays healthy, why wouldn't you vote for him for MVP? Because the Angels suck? That's the only reason I can think of.
Ohtani is that guy, pal. Trust me.
Absolutely.
Ohtani, Franco, confirmed that guy.
Would you guys be down for a quick exercise?
Yes, can I just say one thing before we move on from All-Star Weekend? I hope Ohtani puts on an absolute show during the Home Run Derby.
That's what I was leading into. All right, we're going to do a draft for the Home Run Derby, okay? We're each going to pick 3 players, okay? We're going to go Blake, Anthony, me, and we're going to go Serpentine, okay? Can't pick somebody who's been picked before. Active players.
Are we picking people that are confirmed, or are we picking people that we want to see?
That we want to see. Dream Home Run Derby.
Okay. All right. I'm going to go... my first pick is definitely going to be Ohtani. That's the person that I wanted to see the most. It's awesome to see a pitcher in the Home Run Derby, and he's clearly not worried about his fucking swing, because if he fucks up his swing, he'll just pitch the rest of the season. Who cares? Go ahead. Second pick.
And you guys listening, make sure to let us know who won, who has the best draft, who has the best players.
Second, I gotta go. I'm hometown favorite. I'm taking what I think Ryan would pick if I didn't. I gotta go Matt Olson. That man can absolutely crank a bomb if he wanted to. So I'm gonna say Matt Olson. I would love to see him in a Home Run Derby.
Just as long as Matt Chapman's dad isn't pitching to him, because that is disaster. Those back foot sliders would tie him up.
Absolutely.
I got the Serpentine, the wraparound 2 picks right here. For my first one, I'm gonna go in a strange direction. I want Mike Trout, best player in baseball, and you're telling me that he can't win a home run derby? Dude was winning home run derbies in high school, batting left-handed. There's no shot that anybody compares to him. Forget the swings, forget everything. I want to see Mike Trout in the home run derby. Angels aren't doing anything anyway. And then for my second pick, I think Schwarbaum's is the guy I want to go with. He can hit the ball a country mile. He has the swing for it. You look at Jock, he did well a couple years ago. Same type of guy. Schwarber can do it. I'm taking him.
I was going to pick Schwarber if you didn't, but I had a feeling you were going to, so I'm going to go to my next guy. I'm going to go Jesse Winker. He's absolutely demolishing baseballs this year. He's got a beautiful swing. I would love to see him crank a few in the Home Run Derby at Coors Field.
Love that. My turn, correct?
Yep.
All right, I'm going to go... I love your guys' picks because you're being creative. I'm going to go with an underrated guy who this might be his only year to make the Home Run Derby. He is the true hometown favorite for Colorado, Ryan McMahon. I would love to see him in the Home Run Derby. Ooh. I would love to see how many can you actually hit, Was it just the Tops Now card because of your 3 home run game? Or are we gonna have a home run or a hometown guy win it? That would be cool.
That would
The
be a lot
Todd
cool.
Frazier boost.
What's your second?
Todd Frazier boost, exactly.
What's your serpentine second
My
pick,
second
Blake?
pick, my third pick. The final member of my team. I wanted to go Vladdy, but he already said that he wasn't gonna do it, and like,
Dream.
I don't know.
It's
I'm
whatever
torn.
you want.
Dream. Okay, well, I gotta go. I'll go Vladdy because I want to see, and I hope somebody picks him. I want to see Vladdy versus Jock round 2. I gotta see that again. That was so much fun to watch. One of the coolest home run derby rounds ever, especially in the new format. So I'll go Vladdy. If anybody wants to pick Jock or Harper, those were my guys. I just had to go Vladdy with the season he's having.
All right, for my final pick, I'm a sucker for nice lefty bombers. So I'm gonna go dude who can really absolutely crank one 500 feet on any given day. I'm going Joey Gallo.
Damn,
I would
that was mine.
That's a good
love
pick.
to
That's
see
a good
Joey
pick.
Gallo hitting some 500-foot bombs at Coors Field. I went with Ole, Winker, and Gallo, just a couple lefties that will literally crank one on any given pitch.
All right, I got Schwarber and I got Trout. Okay, I need another lefty bat, and I'm going Blake's boy. Bryce Harper and Mike Trout are
Nice.
teaming up. Phillies fans are ecstatic. This is what they were looking for. Imagine them hitting back-to-back bombs. One to deep left, one to deep right. Like, Harper, he's the champion already, but he has the factor. Like, he's been in these clutch spots since he was 16 with the nation looking at him. So, let's recap the teams. I have Trout, Schwarber, Harper. Anthony?
I got Matt Olson, Jesse Winker, and Joey Gallo.
Okay. Blake?
I got Ohtani, McMahon, and Vladdy.
All right, let's pick each. Let's
I
pick
think
favorites.
if
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
gonna just, my favorite's Anthony's. Oh shit, I like Ryan's too. Mine's the least favorite out of mine. Looking back at it, I just didn't want to take Harper because that was such a biased take. I did not want to take my boy. I had to go with the guys who I were enjoying watching this season. So that was my approach. I love Trout and Harper. I mean, that's the luxury tax on Ryan's team. They went way past it, and that's fine. I like Anthony's strategy though with the lefty bombers. Like Gallo and Winker might have the most raw power out of anybody, except for maybe Schwarber. Like it's hard to beat. I like your guys' teams a lot.
I really like my team. I really like Ryan's team. Blake, I think you're underselling your team with Ohtani, McMahon, and Vladdy. Those guys can absolutely crank one. I definitely think Ryan's is like the safest go-to team.
That's a good
But
point.
I definitely think I'm gonna go with my team. I'm gonna stick with it. I really like my team. I don't know, just Ole, Winker, and Gallo in a home run derby. That'd be absolutely exhilarating to watch.
I'm going Blake's team. I mean, you're gonna see what Ohtani can do this year, and it's gonna blow us away. Like, there hasn't been a single time where I haven't been impressed by him, and I've heard his batting practices legendary. And you're throwing him out there with McMahon, a guy who knows the park, and who's the other one?
Vladdy Jr.
And Vladdy Jr., the MVP so far for the MLB. Like, you're talking about 1-2 as the best players in baseball, and then another guy who hits bombs routinely in that park. I'm going Blake's team.
My thing is because correct me if I'm wrong, Vladdy lost to Pete Alonso, right? After that historic round. I want Vladdy back in the Derby. I want to give him a second chance. I want him to redeem himself. And I think that with Alonso confirmed, I would have loved to see a rematch. That's all.
It's a good point. That would have been a lot of fun to watch, honestly. I like our teams. I don't think there's any clear best team, honestly.
It's hard to make a bad team with a home run derby. Like it's going to be fun with almost anybody, unless your team is like Jose Iglesias, freaking
David Fletcher,
Mondesi. Even Mondesi might be
David
fun
Fletcher.
to watch. Yes, Andrelton Simmons. Yeah, David Fletcher. You know what? Before we end up real quick, I know we've been talking for a while, but I gotta say, I would love for them to add like a skills challenge to the MLB All-Star Game weekend, kind of like what the NBA does. That would be really fun. Like, I think in Japan I saw them doing like bunting stuff. I'll admit I don't want to see people bunt, but they got something going there, right? Like we got to do some sort of skills challenge. Like, how far can Simmons throw a ball in the hole? How far can Cespedes throw a ball from the wall? You know, I want to see that.
Like, just show off cannons from deep center field, deep right field, deep left field, from second to like guys tagging up from second to third, third to home, or like cleanest double plays. Are you kidding me? Like with two middle infielders, definitely could be. There's definitely something there that they could expand on. 100%.
Oh, a style competition? You're talking about, well, dude? Brandon Phillips in his prime.
Brandon Crawford would eat that up, though.
Oh,
Brandon
yeah.
Crawford would eat that up. 100%.
There are some guys that are saucy with it.
Absolutely. There's definitely so much potential there. Just pop times with catchers, too.
Yep.
Even like a race. Just a race around the bases.
I want Timmy Lowe racing
I want to see
Trey Turner
Mondesi
right now.
Yeah, I want Buxton racing Mondesi. Like, I want to see that, dude. Let's answer who's the fastest.
And let's give bonuses like 100K to whoever wins. Let's put some wagers on it. Let's give some incentives.
Yeah.
Or the class. Imagine this: the classic relay race from a team at home, a team at second, and you got a team of Tim LeCastro and Mondesi against Trey Turner and Byron Buxton. Like, could you imagine? That'd be so much fun to watch. Genuinely.
That would be gold. Like, it only lasts like a couple of minutes, but like put that in with the other events we've talked about. All-Star Game weekend is so fun. And that wouldn't even you can do that the same day and in the same time span of the home run derby. Like, it doesn't have to be it wouldn't cost MLB that much. I think that would be so entertaining.
What would you think about changing the celebrity softball and making it so that the pitchers are the dudes with blitz balls throwing crazy curveballs and screwballs to these old geezers are breaking their backs trying to swing at it?
So you see Bill Nye completely get annihilated trying to swing out of his ass.
Kevin James shits his pants on live TV after almost taking a curveball to the face. Yeah, I think that would be awesome. Celebrity wiffle ball. All right, everybody, that is going to do it from us at the Show and Go podcast. I want to give a quick shout out to the people supporting us on Twitch and Twitter and all of our other social media. We definitely couldn't do it without you guys. Our Twitch is Show and Go podcast, and my personal Twitch is Balake34. It's BALAKE 34. Make sure to follow us on Twitter and all of our other social medias at Show and Go Pod. That's at Show, the letter N, Go Pod. Finally, leave a subscription or follow and give us an honest rating wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks, everybody.